Hello everyone, welcome to the Footy Times for this week's Premier League review show where we are going to cover all the good things that happen. Maybe for me, I don't know for these guys, but all the good things that happen in the past game week. Yeah, we have a fun lineup of interesting games this week to get to you. And let's get into the most sort of the big ticket game this week between Manchester City and Tottenham. We have neither of those fan, as you can see, so we are just trying to cover the game because it shows how the city title challenge is going to sort of turn out to be. And yeah, and the question is, and like it poses the question like who's going to sort of stop City. So yeah, I'll let you
No,
guys.
I think the true question is how many points are City going to win by? To be very honest,
Are
So
they?
you
how
just sort of
dominant.
I mean,
multiply three
they
with the
just give it to them
remaining game.
already and do a give a trophy for second spot, or
Hey,
just
As in top four is still
fight for second
still
base.
pretty. I think top four is still pretty. It's going to be a pretty good race this time. I think last time, even with just two teams fighting for the top four, like there are two teams were way clear. It got interesting. Now at least there are three. They are fighting for top
I,
four.
I can't believe Liverpool are back in this fight for top four. I mean, I thought we were done with all that. Like,
Yeah,
I think the last time
yeah,
it happened
but yeah,
3 years ago.
credit to Man
yeah.
City though. I mean,
Yeah,
they've done really well. I was just looking at the stats, and Edison I think has some ridiculous number, like 14 clean sheets
and
in
an assist
23
after
games or
this
something
game.
like that. Yeah, I mean the guy is like. I mean, not just Ederson. I mean, their defense has been the most talked about this
Diaz and
season.
Stones.
They started off really crappily, conceding goals, but it seems like Stones. We spoke about this last week as well. The Stones has resurrected his career, and the addition of Diaz
Yes,
has
And Cancelo
worked wonders.
been like
Yep,
a new
Cancelo.
signing.
Yeah, we
Cancelo.
definitely have
Yep.
to mention
Easy.
Cancelo. Otherwise, Yash would be very, very upset.
Yeah.
Don't mention
I
Cancelo.
think I think this is what Pep wanted to do. Like I think Walker has been a very solid player for City, but I don't think Pep was ever happy with his attacking output. And I think that's the reason he signed Cancelo eventually to replace Walker. Because I think Cancelo, I mean, he might have looked at, I don't want to say, obviously there's a bit of bias here, but maybe he looked at Liverpool's fullbacks
Hmm.
and thought that maybe that's kind of what he wants from his fullbacks, right? May not
Yeah.
be like bombing forward as much, but you've seen Cancelo tuck into midfield, but basically he just needs more, technical ability and more attacking quality from them, creativity, crossing, goals,
W-
whatever.
Would you
So I
say
think
that
that's
he's improved his game though under Pep?
who
Because he played for Inter, Valencia, and
he was
quite
good at
Juve.
Juventus, and he's been very steady. I think he's been Portugal's first choice right back for a while now. He's definitely technically really good. He may not be as good a defender as Walker, but the way Pep is using him right now, he's settled into the system. I think he's understood the demands. Yeah, I think Cancelo has been massive uh, for
Yeah,
City.
especially with
And
his versatility of playing on both ends.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, I think he's
and
pretty
and
much
you have to and one more player you have to talk about is Gundogan. He
Gundogan.
has just like
Yeah, he has had a
become like
crazy.
what's happened to him.
Yeah, he's averaging I
as in I
think one
still
goal a
can't
game apparently.
yeah, it is one
Like
goal
it
a
is
game.
amazing. Like the way he's playing.
I think
I,
since December he scored like 11 goals or something.
and I think it is I don't know whether it is coincidence, but it is very, very aligned to De Bruyne
To
missing.
bring him about, yeah.
And like suddenly he getting the freedom or Pep trusting him to take that role. And like one thing I'm like super impressed with is like his finishing, as in it feels like he doesn't need to think twice before like striking the ball. He always hits a target,
I
which
think
is amazing for a midfielder.
Yeah, I
And
think he's in good form. He's
Yeah.
extremely confident right now. He's
mm,
timing his runs really well. I think it's really hard. That's always been a thing City do, sort of targeting the edge of the box with cutbacks
mm,
and stuff like that, because that's always hard to defend. Because
yeah,
teams will generally, be in the 6 yard box waiting for that ball across. So And yeah, he's just in the right place, and he's always got the technical quality. We know that. So, and he's just confident, and yeah, I mean,
But
it's
but the
I
thing
think
is,
a change that worked out really well.
the thing is, I feel like the game would have definitely panned out a bit differently. Just talking about like taking the chances and all. Kane hit the post in the beginning, and then I think Lloris had got a hand on all the balls. Like he need to
yeah.
do
Yeah,
better, I feel.
he
I
didn't have a
think
good game
yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
Laurie, yeah, I was just gonna say actually, I second what Raul said. Laurie did not have a really good game. Gundogan definitely had a good game, but those shots, I mean, the second goal was a near post
yeah,
goal,
he has
Yeah.
to
which should have
clear
been
that out.
saved.
Yeah,
And then even the second goal, yeah, it was, I don't know, I
penalty
think both
also
goals
he
should have
got
been
a
stopped.
hand. Like he should have been strong for like a goalkeeper of his class. Like he needs to sort of punch it properly. He didn't get a good contact and it
Hmm.
just went in. So yeah.
Yep,
So
that's true.
so I feel like yeah, definitely City were dominant throughout the game. Like Sterling was brilliant. I feel a few maneuvers that he drived into the box, it was amazing. But I felt like Tottenham like should have done more. Like individual people and like generally the team also should have done more. Bale had a fantastic sort of like reminiscent of the old
Cameo.
times. Like yeah, he drove into the box nicely. So I felt like City were definitely. I mean, I wouldn't say Tottenham might sort of beat them, but definitely there was a fight up there which Tottenham just couldn't carry throughout. And I think after the last goal, it was a second goal. I feel it was pretty much done.
Do you think they lost the game in midfield? I don't know if a midfield
Yeah.
trio of Lucas, Højbjerg, and Ndombele were strong enough. I mean, yeah, Højbjerg is he's a defensive midfielder. I think he's a more of a destroyer in a way. Ndombele, I don't know if he had the he he's very similar to Pogba in a way because he doesn't have that sort of discipline to kind of stay behind to protect the back four. So I don't know if that was like if someone like a Harry Winks could have played and then you have Ndombele up front instead of Lucas.
That's kind of what he was doing, right? It was always Højbjerg and Sissoko with Ndombele given more
Yeah,
freedom.
exactly. I
Mm.
I don't know. I thought
I know
that
why you changed
that
that.
didn't work out in this game at least.
Uh, I mean, like, there's not much. I'm guessing you mean in terms of providing protection to the back
Yeah,
four, because
exactly.
there is no midfield battle when Spurs play, especially against teams like Man City, because they don't really play football. It's just pretty much defend and counter attack. So yeah, I
Exactly.
think if his aim is to screen the defense, then probably Ndombele is not the best player for that, because yeah, I
Hmm.
don't, his awareness of space and where he has to be and all of that, has to be on point in
Do
Mourinho's
you
system, especially playing a team like Man City and the form they're in.
do you think, given the form Spurs are in, and if they don't win trophies, do you see Harry Kane going anywhere? Like not staying at Spurs, as in the
I
Mourinho
feel,
system can be very toxic for any
yeah,
player if it doesn't work.
I
I feel, yeah, I feel for Kane. I think he deserves to be at a bigger club. I think
He's like
especially the dimension that he's added to his game this season. Like honestly, I think he's right up there. He's probably second only to Lewandowski as a number 9 in
Mhm.
Europe, if you ask me. And it's a pity. I just don't know who can afford him. That's the
Yeah,
problem.
Yeah, that's
who's
the
going to
thing.
pay 120 million for him? I'm sure Levy is not going to let him go. I mean, he didn't even let Dele Alli go to PSG. So
Oh, that's true.
Kane is like a different person altogether. I mean, he's going to squeeze every
It's
pound he can
150, I
get.
think, minimum. He's taken his game to
Yeah,
a different level.
exactly,
He's,
exactly. And not even the price. I mean, the fact that Kane is kind of injury prone in a way. So who is
yeah,
willing to pay that much
he's
of
28.
amount? And
Like
yeah,
this.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah,
Is
I
he on
think
a long-term contract?
I was just
I
about
still
to.
probably.
think he has like 3 years or something left on.
I
I remember
see.
they signed one
Uh,
not that long ago, probably maybe a
I
year or
see.
so.
And the only team
Got
I
it.
can think who would want to get a really recognized striker is Man City. And
Nah,
Yeah,
Man
I
I
don't
City
think
never
they
see.
pays
would
I
that
have
don't
to
much
see.
money.
invest
Yeah, I
in,
don't see
yeah.
him going to City. To be honest, I don't.
The only team that will pay that ridiculous amount of money, I feel, is Manchester United. No one else
No, no,
would
no,
pay.
no.
Manchester
Dude,
United could
no
definitely
way,
do.
man. I don't see that happening.
No, as in, like, as in, it is like a very typical Manchester United kind of a signing. As in, it's the
The Fergie
big
type of sign,
name.
isn't it?
I,
It's very Fergie type of signing.
I
To
would
go
say
and
Yeah.
get
I would say this was definitely doable. Like you said, typical Fergie sort of signing, and like you bring in Kane and you'll definitely win the league sort of thing, like a
Van
final
Persie.
piece of
like a
jigsaw.
Van Persie.
Van
Yeah,
Persie.
like a Van
Yeah.
Persie. And I don't. But the thing about the game, I mean, the team that we have at United right now, there are about 3 or 4 positions which I feel that need to be filled up in the starting 11.
That's true.
Spending a huge sum of money, I don't what do you call expect us to spend like 100 million on any player right now. I mean, even Sancho, we are probably going to get for like 70, 75 if we are planning on going for that.
Hold that thought. I think we should talk about United later. So we're gonna.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. That's true. But either ways, I mean, Pep versus Jose wasn't the exact.
There was no way Pep was City were going to lose 3 games on the bounce. Not in the form they're in.
Yeah.
It is, yeah. I think the writing was on the wall for. Anyway. I think just a general point I wanted to make about Man City quickly before we move on. I don't know if you guys have felt it. It just feels like he's dialed down the intensity. Because if you saw the All or Nothing documentary from 17-18, the emotional intensity that was there and sort of drive that he was trying to instill in the players. I mean, obviously I'm not privy to what's happening behind the scenes, but it just feels like they have eased off a little bit because they've understood the demands of the season and the fact that basically they just have a bigger squad and they've not had any injuries, and they're at a massive advantage when it comes to other teams, and they obviously have a system which they worked on for many years. They've been together under Pep. They're clearly one of the 2 best teams in the Premier League for the last few seasons.
Yeah, that's true. And I think Pep has definitely understood that, and I think he's the one who plays roulette with his players the most. Except for some positions which don't change, but if someone makes use of their squad well, it is probably Pep. Like no one else does what. That's true. As in, I still feel that like to an extent we don't see the other teams' squads as much because of the heavy reliance on their best 11. It's just that in City, chances are given to players like on and off, and for some magical reason, like that one-off game, like even in this game, I think Zinchenko played. I think.
Yeah.
And he was really good. I was like, okay, probably that is going to be one chink in the armor of City, and probably Son or Kane would exploit. Son will probably exploit.
I think he had a good last game also.
But that didn't happen.
I think so. Yeah.
I think he's been a very solid player for them, right?
Yeah.
Even in the league with them pretty much in 18-19. So I think he's been very solid and when he's called upon.
Basically, I think what Nisarg wanted to touch upon was the fact that they have a really strong bench. If you compare their bench to most players, not only that they're strong, but they tend to be in form. So when they do come on the pitch,
tested.
Yeah,
they quality, right? I mean, you have a 60 million PL winner in Riyad Mahrez sitting on the bench. You have Ferran Torres, who was one of the best talents in La Liga last season.
Exactly. Can't believe they got him for 25 million.
Yeah, the kind of players they have. It's not really surprising that he's able to rotate and quality doesn't drop. I think we can park the City talk there. I think it's pretty much.
And just one last question about Spurs. Do you think they have all their hopes on Europa now? And
I think it was always about the cups.
Mourinho, it's his style.
I think it's Mourinho who decides, and he will probably be like, you know what, we need to put all our eggs in the Europa basket, and you know what, he'll be like, you know what, I did it with the Man United team, which pretty much sucked. So I can definitely do much better with this team. So yeah, definitely see that happening.
Yeah. I mean, the way I see it is, Mourinho was brought to win silverware. That's it. Any kind of silverware, because Tottenham haven't won a trophy since 2008. Pochettino was forever being criticized for not, getting over the line and winning something. I think there is absolutely the peak Tottenham under Pochettino were an exceptional team, and this team is a shadow of that team. So if you're looking for football, there's no comparison. So it's just going to be the only reason Jose was brought, the only reason he was backed was to win some silverware, and I think that's pretty much what his targets are going to be. I feel this season, and anything more than that is a bonus.
Okay,
let's see what happens.
This is a good segue into next game, perhaps.
Let's move on.
What are we doing next?
Let's do
Liverpool versus Leicester.
If you want to get it out of the way,
Leicester.
Avinash, I was.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? I'm not feeling it as much now because I had the benefit of watching the game back, uh, where I was able to analyze it a little more dispassionately. And I thought we played really, really well. That was as good a performance I've seen in a long time. I know we had the week off, and I think that made a difference because you could see they were much fresher. There was so much more intensity. We were winning the ball back. It was actually better than when we played Leicester at Anfield earlier in the season and beat them 3-0. And we just did not score, I think, when we were on top, which was pretty much for 75 minutes of the game. There were multiple opportunities we just, kept them hemmed into the half. We were winning the ball back. The old intensity was there. There was a tempo in our game which was missing on the ball, like the spaces which we moved the ball. We got in behind a few times. I think with a better touch, Salah, Mane could have been through, and we could easily have been, 2 goals to the good going to halftime. But we did not capitalize. The goal did come, and after that, yeah, it was just.
The goal was really good. I mean, just wanted to just say that Firmino's touch. Oh my god,
my god, that was magical.
magical. Yeah.
He did something similar against Newcastle a couple of seasons ago, where he played Salah in with a similar sort of back heel. But yeah,
sorry. On that point, it always amazes me that do these players know the movement so well, or sometimes it is like more of that serendipity that like you do something like that and it just happens. Because as in I don't want to take credit away from such great movement, such a great goal, but you like I think everyone has played at different levels. As in, like sometimes you feel like you didn't really aim for it, just happened, and when it happens, it's like, oh right, that was amazing.
Yeah, but at that level, I think they work so much on it in training that, especially with the team that's been together, front three that's been together for as long, you can probably guess that there is a certain amount of awareness as to what's going on. And in this case, I think Bobby could see Salah probably.
Yeah, it seemed like a very directed, like a straight kind of a pass. Yeah, it didn't seem like he was trying to do something and hoping someone would latch onto it.
Yeah. It's not like he ran on to the ball, right? It's not like he made a run and Firmino guessed where that run would be and he played the pass into space. It was a great goal. Nothing more than we deserved, actually, or nothing less than we deserved. Whatever. It was basically well deserved. You could argue that it should have been like the second or third goal, and that should have killed the game, but that didn't happen.
How about Alisson for the second goal?
Yeah, I'll come to that. And then that free kick. This is what I was talking. This is what I was on about in previous episodes, where this is a kind of randomness that when you don't capitalize on your dominance, you will always have random moments like this in a league like the Premier League, especially. And one free kick, it is a bad foul by Thiago. I think he's been guilty of that a few times now. Something he has to look at. And it's just I don't even want to go into the offside right now because I'm just done talking about whatever. They're just coming up on a whim and it's like they want to draw the line where they want to draw it, and it's very contrived. And so that happens, and they're still in the game. I think Liverpool in previous years would have probably gone on to win still.
Yeah.
But then, that mistake. And I know that Alisson's been getting a lot of flack, but I actually thought it was his ball. Like he is a sweeper keeper. That's the way he plays. And he was running onto it. It was in front of him. It was harder for Kabak to actually control that ball, dropping over his shoulder the way he did. But it's understandable. He's been training for a week. Obviously the understanding is not there. He's not played with a keeper like Alisson behind him who sweeps up like that. And it's just one of those moments. And so
don't you think I mean the fact that Alisson has had he's had brain fart moments in the previous games, that wasn't something he should have gone for. He should have been a little bit more circumspect in that sense.
Yeah, but he usually does. That's what I'm saying. He usually does come for balls like that. And that's kind of what you expect your goalkeeper to do, like to be there to sweep up, balls in behind.
Yeah.
Maybe he could have seen Kabab. Maybe they could have communicated more. I'm not completely exonerating him of blame, but it's just one of those things. And it's understandable given that they are a new partnership. They've not played with each other often enough. But then, yeah, I think the reaction, the heads just go at that point. And given, it's not surprising given everything that's gone behind, and you just have, and the VAR call, I mean, I thought it was a foul on Mane in real time. It's ridiculous. Even when I was watching it back, the moment that happened, I was like, I even forgot that the goal, the free kick is what comes after that.
Yeah.
On first sight, that's a foul, and Johnny Evans pushes him. So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of what's been happening this season. Things not going your way, and it can all sort of contribute, and it's hard to pick yourself up after a moment like that. And I think the heads just went. And Salah gave the ball away in a horrible way. I mean, that kind of square pass, it's always fraught with risk. When the team is streaming forward, you're not in any sort of shape to defend. And yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just one of those things. They were kind of going for it at the end. So, it just left a. Yeah.
There were multiple times which Jamie Vardy almost, I mean, he should have at least scored a hat trick. There were quite a few positions.
Yeah, I think one of them might have been offside. There was one header which he put straight at Alisson, and there's one-on-one which Alisson saved. I mean, yeah, Leicester are going to create chances. They're too good. You can't keep them to no chances for 90 minutes. But as an overall performance, in the way we control the game, in the way we control the midfield, in the way we control the ball, I think it was really, really good. And there was so much positives to take after sort of what's been a dreadful run. The result wasn't positive, don't get me wrong. But yeah, I think hopefully we can capitalize on the performance, and hopefully something goes our way at some point. Just crying out for that. And yeah, the law of averages needs to kick in. And
I was going to ask you, like, I know Kabak's, this was his first game, and you obviously, I don't know, is this like the 25th different combination you have going on with your centre backs? I was just wondering if, what do you thought of his performance? I mean, barring the result and everything, like just his performance, and do you think he would do well with the Van Dijk next to him or something?
Oh yeah, I think we've all discussed that anybody, me or you, could play centre back with Van Dijk alongside. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't judge him on that game. Frankly, I thought he had barely anything to do. He won a couple of duels. I think he was good in the air. He seemed comfortable on the ball, and he seemed assured for most of the game. I didn't see any nervy moments, or he didn't seem out of place or overawed by the occasion. So that's pretty much all I can say. So yeah, I think he just needs more time on the training pitch, better understanding and yeah, I think hopefully we need a stable partnership. I think that's the key.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that will be Fabinho once he's back, because I think out of Fabinho and Henderson, I'd probably prefer Fabinho at centre back, because I think he's more natural.
Henderson can add something to the midfield also, like go back up and.
Yeah, I think we're missing that drive as well in midfield, although we did pretty well in the last game. So yeah, I think hopefully Kabak can see us through the rest of the season alongside Fabinho. And we have to get that base sorted so that we can start putting some wins on the board and get that.
Yeah, 3 back-to-back losses. You don't say that very often about Liverpool.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much all I had to say. I think there's not much. And on to the derby. Let's see. It's going to be another difficult game.
One thing again, I think I hope Leicester follows the trend they did last year, where they played good and then they just dropped off. And like they look pretty solid, to be honest. As in they're like, they have good plans as always, and they also seem to have like a good bunch of players, and then like even with injuries with their centre backs, they did not just drop off and started conceding a lot of goals. So that's pretty good to see.
Yeah, and I think he's learned from last season when they basically collapsed because of the injuries, right? And they just
exactly.
So, and they've also been in Europe this season, and I'm hoping that they go deep in the Europa League, because that means they're playing Thursday, Sunday, and there's 2 extra games. So that gives us a chance, the top 4. So yeah, but yeah, I think they're definitely looking good to go one better than last season.
Yep, let's see how it goes. Should we move on?
Moving on, I guess let's move up the points chart and let's go with 1 point.
We're moving down.
Moving up, right? 0 points. Moving down the table, up the points in terms of the points gained last week. And Like West Brom and United. If you guys want to
Oh,
take that,
I thought you were doing
No,
Arsenal
no.
Leeds.
Yeah, let's do
Let's do
Arsenal.
Arsenal
I
Leeds.
yeah, I don't mind.
Yeah,
I don't
happy.
mind gloating if you guys want to talk
Oh,
about
Go
it.
ahead,
Yeah,
go ahead.
sure, go for it.
It's a tenth tenth place 6 pointer, so I
That's
think it's an important.
it's we are how much are we off from Liverpool? Yeah, it's
Oh,
six
no, we
points.
could well be there
Yeah,
shaking
it's
hands
just
with you
six
soon. So don't.
points. Yeah, it's just 6 points. Not like it's well within striking range, I feel. But yeah, I feel like just talking about the game, it was amazing of how we sort of outplayed Leeds in the style that usually they play. Like just we didn't let them be on the ball. Like it was pressing throughout the first half. If you see, it was pretty incredible on how we sort of closed them down off the ball. They were not allowed to play passes off the back. Like if you see, the goalkeeper had to just clear off the line. So that was pretty incredible the way we played, and even the penalties. So I think the penalty that Saka won, like I think he should have won the first penalty also, but never mind about that. The second actual penalty that he won, he actually did lose the ball in the middle of the pitch, and he ran back to the keeper and won that penalty. So that was sort of the testament to how the sort of the strategy for the game was, like just pressing the heck out of it. And Aubameyang did a lot of that too. Like he was superb whenever he sort of went back, lost the ball, he came back up. So I feel like that definitely helped us sort of put like substantial pressure on Leeds. And Aubameyang back with a hat trick, like his first hat trick for an Arsenal shirt. That was a pretty brilliant.
Oh, that's it. First hat trick
I,
or
yeah,
first hat trick?
I think
I
Really?
that
think,
was the first hat trick for Aubameyang.
Yeah,
oh,
he has
really
gone quite a few
Yeah,
braces,
I
maybe.
think it was his first.
interesting. That is an
Yeah,
interesting stat.
he
I
has had a.
would have not guessed that. I would have assumed that he might have scored like at least three, four hat
I've
tricks.
heard this like
Yeah.
somewhere, but yeah, I think it's his first hat trick. Someone, if anyone knows, can
Maybe
correct
in
us.
the Premier League.
Yeah, oh yeah, Premier League for sure. But
Oh,
yeah, so anyways, so I feel like he definitely came back right, like after the sitting out and coming back to the game in the starting 11. He did a lot of good things like pressing when he was off the ball, converting goals. He also hit like post a couple of times. I feel he went close to scoring. So he also might have had a lot more chances. Although speaking about chances, I don't think the last goal was a pass by Smith Rowe. I don't know if you guys saw it, but I felt like he was going for the long, like for the far post goal, but he just misplaced the pass, and Aubameyang was there and he poked the header in. So yeah, I definitely felt like it was a good game for Aubameyang to be back. I felt it might have been the dicey game because Leeds are like a pretty joker kind of a team. Like on their day, they can rip uh, teams apart, and with our form at the Emirates, I felt like it was maybe a 50-50 kind of a game, even worse for Arsenal. But yeah, I felt the first half panned out pretty nicely, like scoring all the goals. And second half, we definitely switched off, man. For a lot of time, I felt like we were gonna drop points after even scoring four, like leading by four, not scoring, leading by 4 goals. Like I think the first, like the corner and the conversion was bad defending. Like David Luiz, I think had a moment where he didn't track the player, but the second goal was definitely coming back from a point where Arsenal were just lazy about the game. There was a misplaced pass, Leeds punched on it and scored a goal. So I definitely saw that thing happen where uh, we slacked off in the second half, and I hope that we didn't give 4 goals. Like at a point that definitely felt like a possibility. And yeah, I feel the other good thing that came out of the game is the way Arsenal played, like the creativity that Arsenal were missing, as we talked about a lot in the earlier video. Odegaard was back, and Emil Smith Rowe has been playing nicely. Ceballos had a good game also, like the way he moved off the ball and created those spaces, or even filled the pockets of spaces that other players sort of had left vacated. So I feel like that spark is coming back to the team, and a clean sheet for Leno would have been good to end off, but it didn't happen. But yeah, it definitely felt like that was 3 good points won and a thoroughly and entertaining game, to be honest. But yeah, I guess.
Yeah, with Leeds you always get that. I see.
Yeah, it's
It feels
always
like
a
an
blockbuster kind of
entertaining
tie.
game.
I
Especially if you have better
Yeah,
players.
I feel initially teams respected Leeds more than they should have, and like I think with even like little amount of quality, you man marking is a very tricky system to play a league with. Uh, like yeah, you just need a couple of players to shine, and you'll
Let
break
on
the
the break.
system
Yeah,
very easily.
Just
yeah.
yeah,
I
when you have
was
better individual quality, you're always going to be at an advantage playing up
Mm.
against a man marking system because yeah, that's
I think for this game, Leeds. I mean, they lost primarily because of their goalkeeper. Uh, I I
Yeah, he
think
had a shocker.
he had a shocker. He had two. I mean, I keep saying this time and time again that when you have shots at your near post, you have to save them. That is like your like expected of a goalkeeper, and he seemed to have just not done his job. And then obviously that shocker where with Saka,
Saka.
he
Yeah,
he tried to
give up.
he held the ball too long. I don't know why he did that. And then the other aspect. I mean, Leeds. I think they were missing Calvin Phillips's presence in midfield. Uh, I think with him over there, he usually is very keeps them sound defensively and stuff like that. So from a Leeds perspective, that game could have been a lot better. But then kudos to Arsenal for being clinical whenever they got those chances.
Yeah.
So
I mean the
did
first. Yeah.
I was just going to ask you, did the goal which Bellerin scored reminded you of the old Arsenal? There were like about 7 or 8 passes or something, right?
And yeah, and a final nutmeg from Ceballos to give the assist
Yeah,
to,
yeah.
yeah,
Really.
yeah. So yeah, I mean that's what I was trying to get at. Like it felt like, and it has been like that for the last few games where I felt that definitely winning, losing, or drawing the game, that's fine, but you definitely see those link up plays and players trying to sort of do swift movements and passes like one touch passes and all. So that definitely was sort of reminiscent of the old Arsenal, and and I'm just happy to see that play out and in the end converting to goals.
Yeah. And one side note, Willian again did come on.
So,
Hey,
can
but
we
okay,
stop
it
talking about
wasn't
him
bad
already?
okay,
though.
okay. So
Can we
he,
stop talking about Willian on this podcast?
so okay, okay. I want to say something good about Willian this time. Okay, so he did sort of follow the game plan where he, after he came on, he was pressing for the ball. There were a two three sort of time. There were 2 3 times where he actually won Arsenal the ball. So I think baby steps is the key word. But yeah, I definitely feel like he doesn't merit any game time as of now, anyways. But yeah, if he plays fine, do something. He's not assisting or scoring goals. So yeah, I mean I don't know why he's playing, but at least in the Leeds game he
It's
did
in his
do
contract,
something.
Rahul. I'm telling you,
Sorry,
it's in his
what? Oh,
contract that he has
Yeah,
to
yeah, just
start.
to play some
He
games.
has to play if he is fit. It is like Harry
Yeah,
Maguire. If he is fit, he has to play.
but
like Sanchez.
yeah, Sanchez I think was bigger for you guys than even Harry Maguire. I feel,
Yeah.
but
I think
yeah,
paying 80 million automatically inserts a clause like that in your contract, whether it's there or not.
Yeah, seriously. Yep.
To play him
Yep.
in every game,
That's true.
value for money.
yeah,
Which
but I,
is a
yeah.
nice segue, I think,
Man
to
United.
Manchester United. You guys can take it away.
You know what? I'm just gonna ask Nisarg to start. Uh, I am. Yeah, I don't want to end up ranting too much.
So
Go ahead.
so it was so Man United played West Brom, and to be very honest, I really felt we were lucky to get 1 point out of that game. It was a pretty horrible game, in my opinion. Again, the I think we've kept on saying. I think the entire world just keeps on saying this, that the centre back partnership doesn't work. And this is the question I wanted to pose to you guys also, as to like like how, like
Don't talk to
when
me
an
about centre
open
backs.
no,
Talk
isn't
to me. Talk to me. I'll
it
talk.
was
Don't
it,
talk to me
it
about.
was
Yeah.
it is more about like when an opinion like between like the fan community and like even pundits and everything becomes so strong, and like the manager doesn't do anything about it. What do you make out of it? As in, I'm pretty sure there are instances in the past where every team, like be it Arsenal, be it Liverpool, has gone through it, where there is a popular opinion. Like it feels like every single person other than the manager can see this being a problem and it not being addressed. As in, and there is always that line being used that you never know the whole story. But I feel that at some point, like not so many people can be wrong, uh, and there has to be an alternative. But that's something probably an open forum kind of a question that like we can probably discuss it right now because I don't think there was a lot in the game to discuss. So I genuinely wanted to ask that question as to like our fan opinions to like there are some fan opinions that are just kind of in the spur of the moment, but this is consistent. Like you hear this every pretty much throughout this season, and the pundits are calling it out. Everyone seems to be calling it out, and it's just like Ole doesn't want to address it, or he can't address it. I don't know what the situation is.
I would actually come to Ollie's defense over here because I mean, yes, Maguire and Bailly have actually proven to be a pretty strong partnership. Or you know what, you could actually pair Lindelof with Bailly also, and that could perhaps work as well. But I think Bailly may have been injured or may not be match fit for this game, which is why he had to.
He was on the bench. As
He
in,
was on
why
the
was
bench.
he even on the bench? Yeah, he was on the bench.
I don't know.
As in, I don't see a point of a player being on the bench and not being fit for to play.
Yeah, I mean it's a good question, but Ollie seems to. Yeah, go ahead.
No, yeah, I do have something to say on this. So this actually is reminiscent of when Klopp used to play Henderson, Wijnaldum, and Milner before Fabinho was signed. I think this was in 17-18, where the entire fan base hated it. I mean, they used to call it the Brexit midfield. I don't know. Wijnaldum isn't necessarily a British player, but yeah, that's the name it had. And people just hated that midfield because it didn't really provide any creativity. It was very similar. They were all functional players, but Klopp just persisted with it. And to be fair, they took us to a Champions League final, and they were fairly solid. And all I can say is, sometimes managers just have faith in certain combinations or certain players because of what they see in training, because of what they see in games, because I think for them, there is so much more at stake.
Billion. Billion.
What's that?
Billion.
I'm just
Rahul
joking.
was saying billion.
Yeah. No, please, not billion. I think that's a popular opinion, which is actually right. But anyway, yeah, I think it's just there is so much more at stake for them that that trust and that reliability they have in sometimes not losing games is as important as winning. Put it very simply, but it's just, yeah, that's all I can say. That I know there was one press conference where somebody criticized Klopp for not bringing on a more attack-minded player, and Klopp responded saying it's not PlayStation. And I think that's kind of the essence of it, because we might think of it and, just put a player in there, he'll add this extra dimension to the team, but then we don't see the full picture or how it impacts the overall style of play and how it can impact you in other aspects, like, in terms of being reliable or maybe, yeah, it could be anything. It's a very generic sort of response. So
I agree with you, but then at the end of the day, research said, I mean, there isn't. There must be something in the fourth or the fifth dimension, because clearly none of us are seeing something between when Lindelof and Maguire. You've seen me rant multiple times on like their chemistry. They don't have anything going on. There's no communication of any sort. Which,
I think they, in fact, to make it worse, I think they just bring the worst out of each other.
Yeah,
like
I think a lot of people have said that.
Even in this West Brom game, just 1 point, Avinash. Like just in this game, like I simply don't understand the point as to Harry Maguire is the more physical, the taller centre back, but he never takes on the striker. It is always Lindelof who ends up taking on the striker, and Maguire is the spare man. As in, what sort of a reasoning is that? As in, like, how do you come to that conclusion? Isn't it obvious? Like the bigger, the more commanding centre back should take the striker, and Lindelof should be the spare man. But it never happens. In the corners also, Harry Maguire never goes for the ball at all. And it is always like you'll see some random player like Fred or someone who is jumping for the ball against a 6'4" defender or something like that. So that is where I really sometimes get confused as to are we as fans like that detached from the game that we don't see what a manager sees? Is there an element of favoritism, that like the human element that comes into a manager's decision, that he cannot part himself away with that? So yeah, those are like it just always baffles me when like I see such decisions. I feel that this could just get him sacked. If he keeps on playing Maguire and Lindelof, we're probably not going to win anything.
I think, yeah. So just one quick point. So yeah, I mean, there is the human element, there is that element of faith, and it's also a case of option sometimes, because like in case of Klopp, I'm pretty sure he'd have liked to play somebody else, but then he didn't have the player. So instead of, I probably you might say Bai is there and available and he should play, but have you really seen Bai play a run of games and consistently put good performances in over even half a season, not even one full season, a really long stretch of the season? So there could be an element of that. If he really has that player he can depend on, then he like with Lovren as well, we could see the problems with Lovren, but he didn't have any. So it's better to take that player, try to fill him with confidence instead of marginalizing that player, and get the best out of them. Basically, the resources that you have at your disposal, instead of pining for a player who's better, who's probably out there, but then you don't have at this point, right? So that's how I see it.
As in, I do see that point, but again, as in for me, it stems from there, and then you go through the entire team. That in order to protect those two centre backs who have their weaknesses, you play a midfield combo which is very defensive, which is of Fred and McTominay, which then people keep on saying that Bruno doesn't do anything, but there is no balls that are provided to the front four players at all. As in, again, it just brings the worst out of their entire team because of that one combination, and that is what was evident in the game. There was lack of creativity. As in, Bruno scored a brilliant goal. I felt like it was very nice technique to pretty much score from behind you, and for the team, and yeah, as in. Again, not starting Greenwood was something that I questioned. Like he seemed to be getting that spark back that what he had in the last season. And again, probably as you, Avinash, mentioned, it might be a case of putting more confidence into Martial or Rashford. And again, there is a British bias towards Martial for sure. As in, everyone would criticize Martial way before they criticize Rashford.
I think, and De Gea as well. I think that's
and Sheldon also has strong opinions about Martial.
I have strong. I've been pretty vocal when it comes to my opinions on Martial and Rashford on Twitter. Actually, I actually don't see a difference between the two, apart from the fact that they are. I think Rashford's probably like 2 years younger, so he probably gets the benefit of the doubt in that sense. Both have played about 250 games, and both have scored as well approximately the same number of goals. And so I feel like both of those players are very identical, although you could say Martial has more natural ability as opposed to Rashford. Now, when it comes to the games, Martial doesn't offer that extra bit of that push, that drive that you would see in a Bruno, in a Cavani, to kind of track back or to, to run for that or press for that matter, which you probably saw in Saka for that. Now, Martial, and both of these players are on 200K per week. I mean, it's ridiculous. I think Bruno himself is on like 100K per week. They're trying to improve his contract. And then you have, I think Kane and De Bruyne have slightly more wages. So they're very comparable. And they're not performing consistently and getting those scoring goals at will, which they should be. So in that sense, and then it also comes down to the fact that when you play, they don't use the width of the pitch, and that's primarily been a Manchester United side. You've got to exploit the entire width of the pitch. You see both of them in this specific game, especially. You'll notice that Martial, as usual, cutting in, narrowing the pitch. Luke Shaw did phenomenal to kind of exploit the width and provide that cross, which led to the Bruno goal. Rashford, he did better when he was on the right, when he was playing on the right hand side, because he did provide some crosses in. But generally, when you play Rashford on the left side, you that he's not going to. There is very little moments when he's actually taken it to the byline and actually crossed the ball in for Cavani to kind of exploit with headers or whatever. So having, I don't know, I felt like we didn't create that many chances. I think we had like 7 shots on goal or something like that, which is kind of,
Mhm.
oh sorry, 10 shots rather, which out of which only 7 were on goal. Um, and
I think
I
De
think
Gea had to do more than what Sam Johnston had to do.
yeah, Sam Johnson. But you know what? Kudos to Sam Johnson. He had like 2 really good saves, one from Maguire and the other one from
Yeah,
escaping me right now. But if you are, I mean, a team like West Brom, you're probably going to have to, get those crosses in. If you're having, especially if you have Cavani up over there, you got to kind of exploit that and try and create more chances for him, because I didn't see Cavani do much. He had that
he
one
didn't.
shot.
He didn't. I think he didn't have any shots on target. I think.
Yeah, he did have like that one chance which he fluffed his, but then we know that Cavani is not very clinical. He needs about 5 shots in order to actually five clean chances in order to score a goal. But in this case, he didn't really. Uh, it didn't really work out for him, and he came out to be very poor. The entire team actually in this specific game was really crappy. I mean, the only shining, light you could say was Luke Shaw. I think he was magnificent in this game.
And I
Uh,
felt even Greenwood for the time he came looked the sharpest out of the lot. I felt.
yeah.
And
Oh, yeah. That's right. That's right. He that was his shot on goal, which Sam Johnston kind of
oh
saved.
yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Which was actually phenomenal. But you know what? Before, I mean, since we were talking about the whole the defense and everything, I just wanted to say that how was that? Did any of you guys think that was that a foul on Lindelof? Because the striker like literally covered his eyesight. I mean, how is that? How did VAR never impede on that? Like, I don't know. I was really
Yeah.
furious that the goal went in, and
As in again, I
Lindelof
think
and all, but
it's boils down to consistency, right? As in, I think Ole in his post match said that the Harry Maguire goal was chalked off, like the previous game was chalked
yeah,
off because he seemed to have made an aggressive action on the defender,
yeah,
which shouldn't have been. And like I do agree to the fact that it was not as in uh, he just out bullied Lindelof, and I don't mind a striker doing that. This is a personal opinion, but I think this is where what Avinash and we have been mentioning before, that there is like a lack of consistency in the decisions being made, which is basically what makes it really hard to digest any decision for the matter, be it right or wrong. What you want is just be consistent, but that's we are far from that point.
I don't know. I felt like this was, yeah. I mean, there was no consistency. The referee, like for example, the penalty call which Maguire was claiming a penalty for, he happened to get the decision right in the end, but for the wrong reasons. It was like two
Yeah,
wrongs made one right.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. He was
the-
offside.
yeah, he was offside, but he did not account for the offside. He said he thought that there wasn't any push on Maguire, which was kind of
Yeah,
so. I don't know. It just those are we've been okay. As a United supporter, I'm obviously being very biased. I'm very frustrated because we've done so well to actually put ourselves in such a position to almost contest for the league title. But at the end of the day, in the last 5 games, we've only got 6 points of maximum 15 points, which
Join
is,
the club.
which is the same as Liverpool, and they've lost 3 games.
What does that mean?
Exactly. Why is
That we
Liverpool?
are in the same boat right
You
now.
should be proud of that.
I don't know. I mean, it was
Yeah.
it,
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
don't know. I just feel like we should be doing much better. We have the next 5 games are not going to be easy games. We have what, Newcastle, Chelsea, Man City,
and
West
that to
Ham.
Chelsea in form.
Yeah,
Chelsea
exactly.
are on a winning
Chelsea,
run.
Chelsea have won 4 games. I mean, out of the last 5 games, they've won four games, and they've
Yep,
also kept
that's true.
4 clean sheets. So I
Yep.
mean, they've kind of gone unnoticed, just like how Man City have. And they could actually, how we stole that 3rd position last time. I could see Chelsea stealing that 2nd position. But
Which
yeah.
brings me to, I think we should quickly, one last question before we end, I guess. So yeah, I mean, you mentioned you worked hard to get to this position. So what are the aims, I think, for the rest of the season? Now that you're in the Europa League as well, what's it going to be? Is it going to be, I think you can probably say that title is going to be difficult. It's going to be about
Yeah.
top 4. So is it just about making sure that you solidify the top 4 spot, or is it not safe enough in this crazy season that you have to Europa League basket as well?
I would.
Hmm.
I think top 4 is. I think we should qualify for top 4. We would really have to, shoot ourselves in the foot and do
It's
really
6
bad.
points. It's just 6 points between 2nd and 6th. So
That's a
I
small margin
agree, but
compared to what the season has
I
been going
agree.
so
But
far.
if you ask me personally, I wouldn't put. I wouldn't consider Europa first priority. I
Yeah.
think even if we have to get, I think it's more satisfying to get a top 4, by actually earning top 4 rather than get it through Europa. If you ask me, and
but you get a
even
trophy. League is to win
yeah,
something and all that.
getting a trophy and everything. Yes, that is, but it's still a long way for us to go in order to get that coveted trophy. And I would rather, what, if we have to win a trophy, I wouldn't mind getting the FA Cup.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but I don't know, Sir,
And
what do
Ole
you
gets
think?
sacked like Van Hal.
No, I don't think he'll get sacked.
Yeah,
But
I
I
think
hope.
silverware is definitely quite important, I feel. As in, and probably the most realistic chance is the FA Cup. I feel that like whatever said, like Europa League is a pretty difficult league to win. Like it's just been proven time and time again. Like
yeah.
the level of consistency needed to win that competition is pretty high, and uh, I just want to get over that semi-final hurdle for once, like in one competition, and like reach a final and see what the team. I just feel that a trophy would do a world of good to these players, uh, and I feel the realistic one is the FA one. And Europa, we do have a squad to play around with. If it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But as you said, like the Thursday Sunday schedule is just
Yeah, it's
crazy. As in,
too.
if you play the same 11 in on Thursday Sunday, you're just basically you'll probably get out of both the races very very quickly. Uh,
And
so
yeah.
I,
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, like I
that's
said,
it.
with Leicester, I'm hoping the same thing. United go as far as possible. So I'll be rooting for them as well. Probably same with
Yeah,
Arsenal because Arsenal aren't that far behind.
Yeah, I mean,
You never know with the season. You know
yeah,
what? Like we put together 3 or 4 wins in a row, and look at Chelsea, for example. Um,
That's it.
yeah. So I think is that it?
yeah.
That
Yep,
should.
that's pretty much it.
All right.
So yeah, thanks for joining us.
Please like, share,
yeah.
subscribe,
Please like, share, and
Yeah,
subscribe. Follow
yeah,
us on
follow us on
Instagram and
Twitter.
Twitter.
Yeah, we have links for that in the bottom of
yeah,
the video, so
yeah. Just
go
follow
check it
follow
out.
us anywhere you can. Please help us grow.
Yes.
Uh, yeah, so we will be back next week, I think, with the next round of games. So until then, see ya.
So yeah.
Yeah.